internet phone networks collapse in Gaza, threatening to worsen humanitarian crisis. Longtime Israeli policy foes are leading U.S. protests against Israel's action in Gaza. Who are they? Representative George Santos won't seek re-election after scathing ethics report cites evidence of lawbreaking. Today is Friday, November 17th, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. Internet and telephone services have collapsed across the Gaza Strip for lack of fuel, the main Palestinian provider says, bringing a potentially long-term communications blackout. Residents say Israeli forces dropped leaflets Wednesday warning Palestinians to flee parts of southern Gaza. That signals a possible expansion of their operations to the zone where most of the territory's population has fled to escape Israel's bombardment and ground assault. Meanwhile, soldiers continue searching for traces of a Hamas command center. Israel says is hidden in and under North Gaza's Shifa hospital. Hamas and staff at the hospital deny the allegations. As the Israel-Hamas war rages in Gaza, there's a bitter battle for public opinion flaring in the U.S., with angry rallies on many college campuses and disruptive protests at prominent venues in several major cities. Among the catalysts are Palestinian and Jewish-led groups that have been active for years in opposing Israeli policies toward the Palestinians. Some have their roots in the movement known as BDS, which calls for the boycott, divestment, and sanction of Israel. That campaign generated heated rhetoric long before Hamas militants attacked Israel on Oct. 7. And Israel launched its counteroffensive. Now, many groups involved in those earlier efforts are playing a key role, protesting the latest fighting, with actions on campuses and beyond. Republican Congressman George Santos of New York says he won't run for re-election in 2024 after a scathing House Ethics Committee report on his conduct cited overwhelming evidence of lawbreaking. The ethics panel says it has referred its findings about Santos to the Justice Department. Shortly after the panel's report was released, Santos blasted it in a tweet on X as a disgusting politicized smear, but said he would not be seeking re-election to a second term. A renewed effort to expel him has been launched. The committee said Thursday that Santos's conduct warrants public condemnation, is beneath the dignity of the office, and has brought severe discredit upon the House. The Republican chairman of the House Intelligence Committee is calling for the renewal of a key U.S. government surveillance tool, while also proposing a series of changes aimed at safeguarding privacy. The proposals announced Thursday by Representative Mike Turner are part of a late scramble inside Congress and the White House to guarantee the reauthorization of Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which allows spy agencies to collect emails and other communications. They are expected to form the basis of a legislative package that Turner hopes can be passed before Section 702 expires at the end of the year. California authorities have charged a college professor with involuntary manslaughter and battery in the death of a Jewish protester during demonstrations over the Israel-Hamas war. Ventura County District Attorney Eric Nasarenko says in a statement that both charges have special allegations that Loy Abdel Fattah al-Naji, 50, personally inflicted great bodily injury on Paul Kessler, 69. The Ventura County Sheriff's Office says the suspect was arrested Thursday. Kessler was a pro-Israel demonstrator who died early, November 6, at a hospital. Authorities say the two got into a physical altercation during the protests on November 5, and Kessler fell backward and struck his head. President Joe Biden has made America's case to CEOs attending the Asia-Pacific Summit in San Francisco that the United States is committed to high standards in trade that will benefit economies across the Pacific. Fresh off his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Biden also told business leaders that the U.S. was de-risking and diversifying, but not decoupling from Beijing. But he did not mince words in suggesting the U.S. and other Pacific nations could offer businesses a better option than China. Biden's comments came as he was courting world leaders at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. A jury on Thursday convicted the man who broke into former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco home seeking to hold her hostage and attacked her husband with a hammer of federal charges. The jury found David DePape guilty of attempted kidnapping of a federal official and assault on the immediate family member of a federal official. DePape admitted during trial testimony that he bludgeoned Pelosi with a hammer after San Francisco police officers showed up at the home. DePape's attorneys argued that the federal charges did not fit because he targeted Nancy Pelosi due to her political activities and not because of her official duties in Congress. Major League Baseball will play its 2025 All-Star Game in Atlanta 4 years after moving the event from Truist Park to Denver's Coors Field, over objections to changes in Georgia's voting rights laws. Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred made the announcement following an owners' meeting. Atlanta was awarded the 2021 All-Star Game in May 2019, but MLB moved it in April 2021, just 3 months before the game was played. Atlanta previously hosted the All-Star Game in 1972 and 2000. The Oakland Athletics move to Las Vegas has been approved by Major League Baseball team owners in a 30-0 vote. After years of complaints about the Oakland Coliseum and an inability to gain government assistance for a new ballpark in the Bay Area, the A's plan to move to a stadium to be built on the Las Vegas Strip with $380 million in public financing approved by the Nevada government. They will remain next season at the Coliseum for the last year of their lease there. Plans are to open the new ballpark in 2028. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the international news for Friday, November 17th, 2023. Thanks again for joining us here at the Dunkley Report.